Hello everyone, this is the new Yoda's Hut set for 2018. It is primarily set in the time of Empire Strikes Back and has a lot of stuff that's dedicated to the training of Luke, but of course you can return the Jedi to this same scene for Episode 6 if you like, just change some things up a little bit. Now, on the topic of changing things up, let me actually show you some things that can be moved around on this without any rebuild. So these edges, the side extensions, are actually designed to be able to fold all the way back in to make this a much more compact little scene. This is a really nice shape. There's something just very aesthetically pleasing about all of this. Its overall size and just kind of the direction of movement of the lines and also the color combinations. I really like it like this, even though, it doesn't present quite as large of a picture as when you have these out, for looking at it from one angle. But I think this is kind of the way to do it, really. And this way, this kind of just gives you a little bit more of a backyard space to play in. But if you do want to use it from the front, you may want to take this out, bring it around to the front and connect it here. That's why they have that Technic brick right there with the axle hole in it, so that you can bring this into this spot, or you just leave it off entirely if you want to display this on a shelf or something. So for a shelf that doesn't have a lot of depth, this gives you a nice way to display it, and you can also put figures in front of it, create a little scene, and just have it in a compact space. I appreciate the olive color for the 2x2 macaroni tile pieces there, and also the tan color for these short rounded windshields. They just create those shapes very well, and this gives you enough room to look inside, so you can pose up a couple figures and they're having a chat or whatnot, and you can see it. Even though this opening is supposed to be small, I think it's laid out pretty well. I like the variations of colors. Again, a little bit of gap just right in there. It's probably my least favorite thing here. You got a little bit of steam and smoke coming off from something cooking up. We've got a little bit of foliage around the place, and I'll show you all the action features for the Luke training. They include the one single snake there, a very Earth-like snake, but it just represents some actual wildlife. And then inside, you get the little cauldron that's hanging from up above. That's pretty well done to get it to just be angled off to the side. A small little table in the center, and that's kind of sad. It's Yoda's bed. It's kind of sad in the Episode 6 context. You can fold it up to give you more space inside. So in many ways, a lot of this is done in a very similar design to the Octo training set from The Last Jedi. But it's certainly not a copy of that. They didn't start with that. I think they just included some of the features that were nice from that, to be able to use such a small space in many different ways. Got the little light up there that's done with just a gem, and there's some random little cooking implements, and you could take this apart if you want to create a little bit more of a varied stew and whatnot, and that's pretty much it for just the overall structure. Now, this can be used obviously for posing up Luke, and the idea here is that he would be lifting that just like in the movie with the help of the clear handhold there. So it's a good use of that part. Get him to spin around, make him look like he's trying to balance in the air. It could have been a little bit more vertical than that, but I like the idea. I think they've got in general a good thing going on here that makes sense and kind of gets you to think about other ways to use that piece to get figures to levitate. You can bring this down a little bit, and you can raise it up a little bit, so you can actually change its height, spin it around a little bit, actually get the feel of something that's going on there. So that's a good start. This extension assembly here that you can attach to the front or the rear is basically a springboard, so you can do some of his flips. That's not really a flip, is it? I'll give it a little more force. Still not really a flip, but you get the general idea. They're just trying to get him to do some acrobatic stuff. He's never going to land on his feet or anything, but I appreciate the attempt. I think that some kids will appreciate this. And there's actually a similar thing up top, or maybe a combination of the first two features I showed you. You place him right there, and then use this handhold on a string, so you can hold on to that. And then we're going to springboard him off and let him dangle around. You just push on this side over here that pushes down and just kind of disconnects him from where he's standing right now. So he just, swings around to the side, and depending on how you set that up, you'll have a slightly different swing, and you might do a little slight modification with that to see if you can get him to do, to land in a specific place, or put something over here for him to knock down. There are different possibilities for that, but it's another simple thing that doesn't really take anything away from the look of the set, but it provides a little extra play value. They also include a two-piece adapter for Luke to give him a Yoda backpack. This is not a very good Yoda backpack. Yes, Yoda stands up so far. I don't know what they were thinking there. Look at that. His head, his head should be like this, ideally. That's not going to work with a minifigure, but it's just, I would have been okay with it being here or here, but it's all the way up there. So I recommend trying to figure out a custom solution to replace that. It's a start maybe, but not a good finish. Here's a closer look at this set's version of Yoda. I love Yoda. I also really, really like the head mold that Lego came up with some time ago. This one just really works well. I think it's just well sculpted. It looks like original puppet Yoda to me, the one that I associate with the character in my mind, and always have and always will. The torso prints on this one don't look that great to me, to be honest with you, especially with just how bright and clean the tan color is for the legs, which, it has to be. It's going to be a solid color, but I don't know, it just feels like the whole thing is not quite worn enough. You got the tattered edges, you got the little spots in there, some stains, and it's not tightly fit or anything, which is fine, but I don't know, maybe I feel like it needed some more gray in there or something. I'm just not completely satisfied with the torso. Love the head though. This version of Luke in training looks pretty good to me. Now this one has good prints for the hips, or the hip piece, and the legs as well. Appreciate the little bit of asymmetry there, and the torso works just fine for me. I think dark tan is a fine compromise for the hair. They've gone back and forth a bunch of times on that. Multiple toy companies have gone back and forth on hair color, haven't they? But I guess it's just a little bit difficult to get it right, and also depending upon which version of the movie you see with which color grading, you see it a little bit differently. But this also has an alternate face, which you already saw for the concentration mode. That's good, and certainly very applicable to this particular set and setting. Oh yeah, he comes with a lightsaber too, so that's that. Finally, here's a new Dirty R2, who is really just dirty on the front and on the top. Everything else is still just plain white. I appreciate the attempt, and I personally collect Star Wars droids, so I like getting another variant, but it's just not the most convincing effect, is it, when you only have dirt that's really applied from the front and then just kind of spattered around the top. And once again, wonkiness with the head print, as I frequently get at random. It's angled back, and it's not entirely round with that lower ring as it goes around. It's okay. It's about par for the course, and I understand the limitations for printing these pieces, but I would have preferred a dirty R2 that's really dirty, like all over. 229 pieces is an efficient use of parts to get something of this size. $30 in the US is okay for the volume of stuff that you get here relative to other $30 sets. Certainly I would have preferred 25. I think 25 would be excellent. Not even looking at the price to part ratio, honestly, for this one. I'm just looking at how much stuff that I get here, you know, the size of it, the impact of it, the usefulness of it, number of figures and all that, you know, just the volume of stuff, like I always refer to. But yeah, 25 would have been perfect. 30 is okay. I'm not really going to complain about it because I really like the set. I think that it's nicely done. The action features, the play features are great. Honestly, they're so simple, but they really add a lot to what a kid can do with this. Even for me, it was, as an adult, it was fun to operate the things and just, you know, make Luke fly around a little bit. This is really nice for display. I appreciate the reconfigurability of the base, so you can display it in different ways in different places. Just a lot of smart design went into this. I think that the designer for this set deserves a lot of credit. With a lot of restraints, a lot of restrictions, he or she was able to put together something really nice for the number of pieces, in my opinion. That's it for my look at this set, though. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.